best player in camp.
Right now,
I'm going to
Travarius
say
Ward.
something really controversial. I'd
I'm gonna
like
say
to know what you
Travarius
think.
Ward.
I
I
was going
think
to
it's
say
Ward.
Nick Bosa.
I mean, you're not wrong there either.
But he's going up against backup tackles, and it's like the disparity is so great. It's like the offense can't even practice, and it's like they gave. I even asked Kyle today, like, do you ever feel like just giving Bosa time off so you can like practice because he's ruining everything? And he was like, well, yeah, I know what you mean, but it's good having him out there. But he didn't practice today, so I don't know. I mean,
So maybe
you almost
that theory's
can't
out the
do
window.
anything with him on the field. It used to be that way with Alden Smith too. It's like, all right, Nick, you win Employee of the Day. Thank you very much. Go have a Coke and a smile.
Yeah, headline: Nick Bosa is really good at football. So yeah, no, but I mean, I was impressed yesterday with the play that we were talking about where Trey throws the ball down the field. It was obvious pressure that they just let the play go on, and Juwan Jennings has to step on Charvarius Ward a little bit, and he's pushing off a little bit. But there's something at the end of the play that Ward is so good at just getting there and just closing it off, and he's been fun as hell to watch. I mean, I've only seen him one day, but I'm gonna keep my eye on him, man. And then like what I'm gonna be looking for the joint practices is him against Justin
in the
Jefferson.
shoulder. I thought it was a well placed throw, but Ward choked off any space. I mean, it was like this much space. It would have had to be like a perfect catch, and Jennings couldn't do it. Thought it was a nice throw though. Great coverage.
Very much, and it kind of was what you said, like bad throw because that was right after the Jimmy Ward interception, I believe. So again,
yeah,
right. That's a little bit of what I liked about Trey last year. Like when he had a pass that like either was airmailed or under, he gets right back to firing. So like again, I don't know how much the confidence is because you were there today, like I wasn't, but yesterday I didn't really feel like anything about like confidence. I mean, I can only see from so far, so I can't really.
It felt like frustration, not a confidence issue. Mm-hmm. Today, when the ball spun sideways, I was like, wait, hold on, why? But why? Yeah. Best player in camp. So who are you going to say?
Charvarius Ward. Yeah, it's Ward, man. Yeah, I mean, it's just again, it's funny how things change pretty quickly. Charvarius Ward gets signed to the 49ers. People are like, "What the hell, man? Why? What are we doing?" Like, there's so many other good people. But then you're like a corner who can really cover men, and when you dive into the stats, it bears that out. So you're really thinking about how you're improving this defense so that the offense, the defensive line doesn't have to continuously win pass rushing, right? Like you can cover back there. There might be covered sacks. Like that's an incredible thought, like because of how well they're covering too. So you have to keep that in mind. Like guys are not beating him down the field or they're not winning in the routes.
No, I got a hot take though. As good as Charvarius Ward is and has played,
Mosley better.
Mosley has played better. I'm not saying he is better, but he's to me like Ward's bigger, faster, stronger, more talented. Mosley is in a contract year, I want to say, and Ward just got paid. Okay, so Ward just got paid. He's a pro. He's clearly very good at his craft. But there's that different edge that a player has when they're in that contract year. And this dude, Mosley, is really like you can just tell players who are like, I need to dominate every day. I'm going to get the bag. He's on that mission right now, and it's very fun to watch a player in that zone. He has given up zero.
Yeah, he was incredible last year. I think he gave up 1 touchdown last year, and he was the number 1 corner. And now he gets to slide into 2. Like he's gonna. The secondary has got me very excited, man. Like if you want a positive, this defense is really good, and this secondary is incredible.
But what's fun is it's like last year, Mosley was the number 1 corner, but teams were just going at the other corner all the time anyway. Now,
and that makes sense. Why would you if you have your matchup of okay, there's that guy and then there's that guy. All right, let's go with this guy. Like let's make them work. And that's what happened at the end, like with Ambry. Like they couldn't hide him anymore, and he was playing so far back, and they just were like, all right, get him.
But this year, teams are going to go with Mosley first because Ward got paid.
Yeah,
and he's the one with the reputation. And Mosley is like, okay, bring it on.
Yeah,
and he doesn't get the interception, so he had a really nice pick week 18. Am I wrong? A nice pick.
Yes, he did.
He did. He just hasn't had the picks consistently. But seems like he's expecting a lot of action this year, and he seems like he's ready for it.
Yeah, he looks great, man. Secondary is incredible. So,
Aruna says need updates on Jeff Wilson, Ross Dwelley. I think Ross Dwelley's a good player. They never use him. I don't know why he's on the team. They might as well cut him at this point. Let someone else do something. What are you stashing him for? I don't get it.
And Jeff Wilson, it's like how much of like what the injury has it really zapped? I mean, I understand he's the number 2 back on here, but like Trey Sermon got some run, he looks all right. TDP got some run, he looks all right. Like the running game as a whole, still that's a question mark. That's a bit of a question mark right now. Like I
love Jeff Wilson Jr. in 19 and 20. I thought he was not only
he was great.
I thought he was great. He was also like a 3-down back. He was not good last year. but he was coming off an injury. It's hard to judge how explosive he is in these practices. I think it's going to come down to him or Trey Sermon, though.
Yeah, and I, Jermichael Hasty is a guy that I look at like, I don't think you're going to make this roster. Jordan Mason has probably been, like yesterday, he looked really, really good, man.
Good,
Jordan
right?
Mason. Yeah, he's actually probably like the best looking one out of all of them right now at this point.
He does look very smooth. Chris Walker says Trey's played 2.5 NFL games. At least give him a season to show what he has.
Chris, you're preaching
we
to
don't
the
do
choir. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I know.
Training camp practices.
It's over. Pack it up.
It's over. Niner fan 80. I'm actually not gonna. I'm retiring. I've seen enough. Niner fan 85 says the defense has been dominant, but who do you think is the best player on offense at the moment? A couple of guys who aren't out there. Guys on the field right now.
Yeah.
Damn, Kittle. I guess.
Kittle
by default.
Yeah. It's hard.
Saying,
offense hasn't been able to do much.
Hey, Ayuk's never been the same since Nick Mullins got benched. I'm just saying.
You're not going to start that narrative. Don't even start that. Don't even start.
I'm this Nick. Nick, where you at? What Nick would do is he was like, look, I'm not that good, okay? But you're good. So I'm going to throw it to you 15 times, and you're going to make me look good. And I don't know. Kittle had his best season with that.
Vegas. Derek Carr, you're in trouble. Mullins coming for your job.
Watch out, buddy. Phil says, how's Aaron Banks doing? Saw on Twitter he's doing well. I don't know. Let's see what happens when they put the pads on. He had a false start today. I crushed him for it. Aaron,
I think it's really, really weird to say anything definitive about the offensive line. Sure, they're not blocking, whatever you call blocking is without pads, but it's gonna be tough. You'll find out Monday when he actually starts to pads start to pop.
I mean, I almost feel like it's so ridiculous right now with this offensive line. You might as well do 7-on-7. What are you accomplishing? Every play is off script.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe this is the adversity he wants. Thomas Tyler says, you think Scangarello did his 77-step zigzag drill out of Kyle's office down the stairs and out the front door when he got axed? That was a good comment.
Yes, and then he ran to everybody and started saying, yeah, well, they're not invested in Trey. So, he ran right to be people's sources on that BS.
Oof. Thomas says, I know it's just day 3, but does your win-loss prediction change at all? No. It actually makes me feel better for slightly fading this team. 9 wins. I feel like, okay.
Let me be more positive. I think we're all gonna look back on this week. We're gonna look back on all of these practices and laugh. In the same way that everybody was losing it when the other quarterback would throw a bunch of picks in the practice. I think eventually you're just gonna look back on this and be like, man, remember all those people freaked out? It's you've waited this entire offseason to get training camps here, and these are the things you're hearing. So I think you're just caught off guard because that's just not what you want to hear at this point. But that doesn't mean anything one way or the other. In the same way that if Trey Lance threw the ball and was 18 for 18 with 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, or get his gold jacket ready, you got to slow down on both. Just let it play out, man. Give the kid time.
And I think we mentioned this earlier. I still feel like my silver lining for this team and why I feel like I could still revise my prediction. Feels like the roster is incomplete. Not incomplete, but there's another move or two they're going to make that they haven't made yet.
The center position feels weird right now just because it felt like it was Brendel. He was at least going to take the first. And then it's all right, well, we're getting Brunskill in there. And it's okay, now you got a whole new thing at right guard.
Right.
A lot of that stuff just feels like right now they're working through that.
Because at Brunskill at right guard is not necessarily a question mark. At center, he is.
Yes.
So you're creating a question mark when you actually have a solid right guard who's actually done well against Aaron Donald in the past.
Yes.
So why create another question mark? And because Brendel, or however you pronounce his name, probably isn't good enough. And the center's really important, not just for blocking, but for calling out the protections. If he doesn't do that well, you saw what happened in 2020. So it's very important. And if they get this guy, they got Josh Norman, week 2 last year? They got Thomas in week 2, 5. They're probably going to make another move. But until they do, I feel comfortable saying 9 wins. But I know they will.
What's Hornets Grasu doing? You think he wants to come play some ball?
If they call up Daniel Kilgore, I mean, really, he's not that old. He's younger than me. Larry T says, if Lance goes down behind this O-line, would Kyle lose the locker room rolling with Sudfeld or Purdy? Would be a waste of what looks like a dominant D. That's an interesting question.
I don't think so. Nobody has good backup quarterbacks, man. I don't understand that portion of it. I mean, the only way that you have a good backup quarterback if it's somebody that's either been drafted, highly pedigreed, and is sitting for a year or something like that. Newsflash, usually when your backup quarterback plays, it's not good either way, and it's for every team like that. So just this idea of you need to have a really good backup. Where are they? Are they growing on trees?
Allow me to retort, though, like Samuel Jackson. in the most respectful way possible.
Of course.
You don't. I mean, you're not gonna have a good backup, but you could have a guy who gets you a couple wins if in 3 games. Like the Cardinals have that theoretically, and
Colt McCoy's fine, but you can't play him 10 games.
No, you can't play
him.
him.
Right, like if he plays 2 games, he could win 2 games.
Exactly. But I don't feel that way about Sudfeld. I don't know that about Sudfeld. They could have had Tyrod. You could say that about Tyrod. You could say that about Dalton. They didn't do that. They have Jimmy and Sudfeld. Although, what are your thoughts on Sudfeld real quick?
Dude, I think that like we all make jokes and everything, but he's actually a lot more athletic than people give him props for, and he spins the ball, man. He's not like
he does spin the ball very well. I will give.
I don't understand. Like it's like all these jokes about, well, if he's the backup, you know that like he's not like terrible. Like, oh my god. And again, backups are backups. Like that's why they're a backup.
Of all the 6'7" quarterbacks I've ever, they always look something awkward about a 6'7" quarterback. It just is. But I think he's better than Paxton Lynch. Paxton Lynch couldn't throw at all.
This not a high bar, but yes, I agree.
Timothy Glenn says, when should we worry that the offense not clicking?
When pads go on and you're already and your pads go on and you're getting towards the end of training camp, if you're starting to hear all this stuff, man, like that's when you get a little bit more worried.
Right. Miguel says, should I get a refund on my season tickets with how bad Trey is practicing?
Miguel, pack it in, take all your 49ers stuff down, throw it away. It's over. It's done.
Flav said, Trey had another rough day. No way. Why is he playing like a rookie who only has 1 year of JV League college football under his belt? What the heck, Grant? Flav, I respect you. But I will say that he's playing a lot like Jimmy Garoppolo plays.
All right. So you mean that's 8? So we're starting 8-0. Let's go.
He's playing a lot like – so maybe Jimmy deserved more, hey, you're going against a good defense. But Jimmy had Debo last year. He did. So, again, if it didn't matter – Flav wasn't concerned that Jimmy threw 11 picks last year. He's just rubbing it in. I respect it.
No, I think he's being sarcastic. I think he's being sarcastic. But yeah.
Niners for Life says, why are people so quick to burn Trey Lance and Jimmy Garoppolo had every practice go worse than these, yet people defended him? This is why our fan base sucks sometimes.
I'm not lying, man. I mean, again, it's the prestige of the position. Like the last time Grant and I talked, right? Like 49ers quarterback. Center for the Boston Celtics, point guard for the Los Angeles Lakers, quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. It's always been something that fans are going to be impatient with because of the history of the mystique of the position, and that's just where it is. But I agree with you, man. It's just, overreactions one way or another are foolish, but here we are. People were starting for football. You got it now. So here we go.
But also, like, Jimmy won those 5 meaningless games before he ever stepped on the field for training camp with the 49ers. So at that point, in a lot of fans' minds, it didn't matter how bad he was. It never mattered how bad he was in camp because people were like, he's a gamer, until he wasn't anymore. With Trey, they don't have those 5 games, which really were meaningless in retrospect. He doesn't have that. He has 2.5, and it was up and down. So people read into everything, how he walks, how he talks, what people say about him.
Oh, well, I will say this, though. At least, yesterday's press conference, he still seemed like a guy who handled it in stride. He's saying all the right things. He didn't seem too frustrated, but like he's kind of handling it well. I don't know. He didn't get to talk today, right?
No.
Okay.
I just expected him to bounce back with confidence today, and it was worse. And to me, that's uncharacteristic. I keep coming back to Jimmy's back, and I know it's not Jimmy's fault, but Kyle, John, you're trying to do what's best for the organization. Really think about how this changes the dynamic. Think about it. Maybe it hasn't, but you should at least think about it. I'm trying to do my best as quality control. Trying to
work harder, man.
I'm trying to earn the salary I don't get.
Work
I was
harder.
Trey's from now to last year. I don't think today's the day to talk about it.
And I also don't think that they've been really calling things for those. Like the quick decision throws are just like, intermediate flat or like, a little bit like towards the sideline, which, the ball looks fine that way. But like he hasn't been like lofting it up like over guys or in between. Like he put one on Kittle yesterday that was in between two, like literally 2 hands were coming this way and it just went right through them.
Right in front of the fans.
Yep.
And then again today, he has Ray McLeod streaking up the left sideline with like a half step on Travarius Ward. If it's Jimmy if it's Jimmy Garoppolo, he's not throwing that.
He's not throwing
Trey, no hesitation, lofts it over Ward. Ray McLeod, who's not a deep threat, kind of clumsily turns around and tries to catch it with his hands instead of catching over his shoulder, and it hits him in the face. Yeah. I mean, that's a dime. Yeah. That's a dime.
So again,
pass. So what are you gonna do?
Context on incompletions helps as well too.
Yeah. That's our show. Thanks for watching. I didn't mean to fan the flames of panic. I don't think you should be worried, but I do think the Niners are probably. I think they're probably puckered up a little bit, if you know what I'm talking about, and they probably appreciate a better performance tomorrow, so they don't have to say it.
Can't
Trey,
wait.
no pressure. How do you think Jimmy's looking when they walk in? He's like, "Hey, nice, right here, right here, right here, high five." How is Mitchell doing? Haven't heard much about him. He looks noticeably bigger. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have. But I mean, again, the whole offense is out of sorts, so it's hard to like when you ask like who's the best offensive player, it's like nobody.
Yeah, the guy who's not. Yeah, nobody.
Right.
Right now.
Nobody.
Yeah.